Good morning, all. It is the final week of Libra season, and here is how you are going to co-create with this week's astrology. My name is Comet. Welcome to Just in the Magic Monday, your astrological weather forecast for the week of October 17th to October 23rd. What is happening in the cosmos and how you can lean into these celestial influences to live with more alignment and magic. Astrology for real life, for your life. I am here every single Monday morning, here to guide you into the week ahead with some coffee and some cosmos. Speaking of, what's everybody sipping on to start their week? I have a regular old cup of joe, but I did throw in some pumpkin spice creamer. You know, it's the last week of Libra season. Yes, pumpkin, whatever, it's a little basic. I don't care. Something takes over me every October where I just need pumpkin everything. My coffee, no different. And I hope you really are maximizing these moments to infuse a little loveliness and pleasure and beauty within your day-to-day, whether it's pumpkin creamer in your coffee, whether it's lighting that special candle while you're getting ready, whether it's dressing up a little bit, whether it's going for lovely fall walks. I really want you to expand Venusian energy this week because there's a significant tonal shift occurring. On Sunday, both the Sun and Venus leave Libra and ingress into Scorpio. So we are really transitioning this week from this Venusian energy around really spotlighting the romance and the pleasure and the beauty and the balance into the depths of Scorpio season. And don't get me wrong, Scorpio is one of my favorite signs, but when I say it's a tonal shift and we are officially transitioning into eclipse season, so things get a little intense. So that's why I'm saying grab onto this Venus energy, however feels good to infuse it within your day and hold on tight because it's our last week of this really lovely Libra Venusian energy before we transition into the depths of experience that Scorpio season will bring. Nothing to fear though, the cosmos are not mean, they just present opportunities for growth and challenges and all of the things. So let's talk about this week. So outside of Sun and Venus entering Scorpio, we also have the Sun and Venus, they're kind of gathered together. They finally meet up and catch up on Saturday, but they're gathered together and they trine Mars and Gemini. This is sort of a continuation of last week's Magic Monday, where it is a teamwork, all working together energy. However, both of those planets, after trining Mars, which is like a little bit of like friendly competition, it's a little bit of banter, it's a little bit of motivation, right? Sourced from other people. But there's a darker underbelly just lurking underneath because both of those planets, while they trine Mars, this week they will also square Pluto. And Pluto is quite literally the planet of the underworld. It's the planet of intensity, of extremes, of obsession. So while there can be this healthy, friendly competition, there can be deep-seated resentment and jealousy just lurking below. And you'll want to keep those jealous, resentful feelings in check, okay? Because this weekend, Saturn stations direct. And now Pluto stationed direct last week, Saturn stations direct this week. It's an energy where what it is that we have sown, we will reap. And comment below, is there a phrase that you've said incorrectly for years and then now you are aware that it's incorrect? For years, documented on this very YouTube channel, said to many a client in consultations, I would always say, what it is that you have reaped, you will sow. And that doesn't make sense. And finally, a commenter was like, you know, it's flipped. You know, it's flipped. You know, to sow is to work on something and to reap is to get that energy back. It doesn't make sense to be getting that energy back and then working on it. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know why. Those words do a doozy on me. So if you ever hear me say it in a video and I really go slow and make sure I'm saying the right words, I don't know why it's always felt flipped to me. It doesn't make any sense. But anyways, so just with Saturn direct, keeping those motivations in check. It's not inherently bad to have feelings of competition and resentment and envy, but it is important not to send harmful or hateful energy people's way. Just observing these motivations and how they may elicit insecure feelings. Mercury also opposes Chiron this week, but really rather than allowing it to kind of send hateful energy that person's way, allow it to build up what it is that you are working on, because Mercury then trine Saturn. There's a lot this week, my love. I'm here to guide you through it. Let's take it into the big picture thematic look so we can really see what this energy feels like. So if you're new here, vibe check of the week is when we liken the week's astrology to a real life situation so that you can begin to paint a picture around how this energy comes to life here on planet Earth. A lot of times when we hear Mercury opposite Chiron, Sun square Pluto, it doesn't necessarily elicit strong emotions. However, when we liken it to, you know, that feeling when we start to really get in tune around how this energy could play out for our lives, right? So this week's vibe check feels like middle school, high school frenemies. Okay, and if you're unfamiliar with the concept of frenemies, firstly, good for you. I'm so happy you have not had that experience. But essentially, frenemies are like when it's your friend group and everybody's kind of nice to one another's face. Maybe there's like little digs underneath, you know, maybe there's squabbles, but there's a lot of bad mouthing behind one another's back. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of resentment. It's like, oh yeah, we're besties, but it's like, are you really? Do you really want good things for that person? Or are you just close to them out of jealousy and obsession? So whether this concept is foreign to you or you can sort of relate, this is essentially a week where absolutely there's this nice Libra energy. And the thing about Libra energy is that we want to get along. We want to be peaceful. We want to feel liked. We want to feel palatable and pretty and popular and polished. And this is the shadow side of Libra energy. I'm not coming for you. If you have Libra energy, I'm not saying that you're superficial. I'm saying the shadow side of Libra energy can be a little superficial. It can be like, ugh, I really do not like Becky, but seeing Becky and be like, hi, because you don't want to be disliked. Both the Sun and Venus trine Mars and Gemini, which is the energy around friendly competition. Like I want you to think of that friendship group where it's like, it does motivate you to get better grades because you're getting competitive. You're like, what did Becky get on that assignment? Or dress better. Look at Becky's new boots that she's wearing to school. Or compete harder at the soccer game or get a better mile time. There is something to be said about healthy competition. Last week was big on collaboration. Let's work together to focus on the end result, right? Let's find ways to streamline and be efficient. This week is like when motivation can be sourced from other people. And again, there's a healthy way to tap into this energy and an unhealthy way to tap into this energy. So I'll spotlight both. But with the trines to Mars, it's almost this energy where it's like competing with Becky fleshes more us out of us. Like we feel driven to want to push the bar higher. We want to win the spelling bee. We are more driven. There's this kind of healthy competition, healthy motivation. And that's the healthy part of frenemies, I guess, is that they do motivate you to want to be better in some ways and for anything to be able to compete. However, there's absolutely a shadow side. Mercury opposes Chiron this week. And this is the energy around words can hurt. And Mercury's in Libra, so this is like insults delivered with a smile that you're not even sure are insults. This is the energy where Becky comes up to you and she's like, oh my God, Marissa, that is so cute that you thought you could beat my mile time. You haven't even got below 9 minutes, right? Oh my gosh, you slowpoke. You're so silly. Don't worry about beating the mile time. It'll mess up your hair, and I know that it gets really frizzy when it's hot outside, so maybe just walk. Yeah, your hair looks so good. You don't want to mess with it. You're too pretty for mile times. And then you're just like, did she just compliment me or insult me? It's very much insults delivered with a smile this week. And with Venus square Pluto, it's like that resentment and jealousy that we have for Becky or any frenemy just continues to kind of leak in this poisonous energy where we're just like, oh, I cannot stand her. And that obsessive energy only growing and growing and growing. And I just want you to be mindful of that. It's lovely that we are here with other people in order to be motivated by them, be inspired by them. But notice, when something good happens to someone, are you genuinely so happy for them? Or are you like, dang, that should have happened to me? Check on those motivations, my love. Because while it's powerful to be motivated, like, you know what? Becky beat her mile time, let me try my best. Like, we can source inspiration and motivation from one another. That's not bad. But I want you to be mindful of where you're like, oh, Becky got the best mile time and now they're giving her a medal in front of the school. That's not fair. That should be me. It's like, use that motivation as fuel. Use that motivation or that healthy competition in order to be your best rather than trying to take Becky down, right? Even if she is a little rude. So love, we'll give more context to this as we take it day by day. Do keep in mind, if I say a time, it will be PDT, so make sure to adjust to your time zone. And all timestamps are below if you want to jump forward to a particular day. Without further ado, let's take it into Monday, October 17th. Okay, so on Monday, the 17th, and normally I put down my coffee, but I'm kind of in my Libra season era. I feel like it kind of goes with my outfit, so we are keeping it. Hopefully it's not bothering anyone. On Monday is the last quarter moon. A lot of you chimed in about last week's Aries full moon. It seems that it was pretty intense. Some major illuminations came to the surface. So if you were one of those people, Monday is a day where it's sort of like a check-in point. It's a check-in point around, okay, what's gotta go? What has gotta go? What people am I around that I am fake to, fake nice to? Why am I around people that I secretly hate, have to perform for, have to put on this show for? With the last quarter moon, I'm not saying dump all your friends, but I am saying if the Aries full moon illuminated, ooh, this connection really brings up this particular wound, or ooh, this connection, I never feel safe to be my authentic self. This is sort of energy around, okay, what needs to be released? What am I ready to shed? What have I been brushing under the rug? Because it was easier that way. Keep in mind, shadow side of Libra energy is this energy around, if something's not pretty, brush it under. If these emotions aren't pretty, brush it under the rug. Let's not deal with it. Let's not deal with it. And that Aries full moon could have been like, we've got to deal with it. Even if it's not pretty, even if it's not polished, we simply have to deal with it. And with the last quarter moon, it's sort of this check-in point. And some of this can be emotional check-ins. It is a Cancer moon. Cancer has to do with home, family, emotional state. So for some of us, it can be some major sensitivities that are coming to the surface. Some major areas around what has not made us feel safe, right? So granting some space for that. And keep in mind, Monday is Moon Day. Monday is governed by the moon, and the moon is in its rulership of Cancer, so it's extra moony, extra lunar. Our emotions tend to be more pronounced. There tends to be a more firm desire around nurturing ourselves. I will say that morning, the Cancer moon squares Venus in Libra and trines Neptune in Pisces. I want you to follow your energy, okay? Sometimes you had this whole vision in your mind the night before. You're like, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna run 4 miles, and then I'm gonna shower and I'm gonna get ready for work. And then you get up and you're like, I so deeply want to journal and sip my coffee on the patio and listen to Magic Monday. And following those little instincts, like with Cancer, it's very responsive, but it's very in tune. So be in tune with yourself. With the square to Venus and Libra, we can really be in a deep desire for love. It could feel like a bottomless pit of love. Someone told me that, I don't know how true this is, but a client told me one time, she's like, if you crave crunchy foods, you're stressed because you kind of want to like release some energy that way. I don't remember what she said about salty foods, but she said if you crave sweet foods, you're craving love. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I must be craving a lot of love. My boyfriend got me a 100 piece of Halloween candy. I guess in his mind, he thought it was gonna last till the end of October. It lasted a week. And he can't eat chocolate because he can't have milk. So that was all me. So I loved having a reason for it. I'm like, oh, I was just craving more love. I just wanted to give myself love via sugar. So yeah, so with Moon square Venus, be mindful of the sweets, be mindful of the Halloween candy. If you too have a sweet tooth like I do, and I know I don't need anyone to tell me in the comments it's bad. I'm hearing all about it. Okay, I am hearing all about it. But with Moon square Venus, you know, Venus is the plane of love, Moon is the plane of nurturing. So we could feel like we don't feel loved. And with the trine to Neptune and Pisces, giving yourself the space to flow. Cancer and Pisces are both water signs, in tune with the emotional, intuitive realm. Sometimes when we make ourselves do things out of guilt and obligation, it's like you might be going for a 4-mile run, which your body will thank you for, but if the entire time you're just in this energy around, oh, you gotta do this, then you're gonna carry that energy with you through the rest of your day. So truly on Monday, have some sort of like morning routine, or just enter the day mindfully, really check in with yourself. What would feel nurturing to myself right now? Is it journaling outside in the sunshine? Is it doing a little yoga flow rather than the intense workout that I had planned? Is it drinking my little pumpkin coffee? Whatever it is, allow yourself to just really receive those energies around love and nurturing, and just reiterating to yourself, I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of taking care of myself. I do these things because I love myself. I run these 4 miles because I love myself, not out of guilt and obligation. I journal because I love myself enough to want to deep dive into my own psyche and into my own emotional experience. And that's important because at 1:56 p.m. PDT, the moon opposes Pluto, which is intense. We're more sensitive, which is why I really want you to echo this in and start your day mindfully and full of love so you can take that with you, because with the moon opposing Pluto, it's the energy around feeling a lot of pressure. It's feeling a lot of intensity. It's feeling the energy where you make a mistake at work and you can't stop crying about it. Or it's the energy around one little thing is bothering you and it's just infecting more and more unhappiness into your day. It is debated whether or not the moon can truly go void in a sign of rulership. I personally would be a little mindful of the activities that you partake in after 1:56 p.m. as the moon is technically void. And what's fascinating on this topic of following our energy is that this is the day that Sun trines Mars. This is a can-do, competitive, driven sort of energy. And keep in mind, it's happening in air signs. So some of this competition might be derived from other people. And I do want to highlight the moon opposes Pluto at 1:56 p.m. And so there can be a tendency for this like healthy competition to descend into obsession, checking their Instagram account every 2 minutes and being like, why are they in Bali now? They were just in Thailand living the best life with blue water, floating fruit in the infinity pool, and what the heck? And you can use that, you can use those images, which keep in mind, are not real, right? You can use those to descend and to obsess and to compare, or with Sun trine Mars to motivate you. Like if you are just looking at these photos on a break at work, being like, okay, I really want to travel. Let me make my vision board around where I want to travel. Let me set up my savings goal to see if I can get to that space. Like noticing when you have those triggers, which obviously all of us do. It's part of the human experience. When there is a creator online or when there is a friend in your friendship group, really diving deeper into those emotions around what is it that threatens me about this person, or what is it that I'm jealous about? And how can I inspire more of that energy within my world, right? Because you do not need to live their exact life. I mean, there's something embedded within their lifestyle or what it is that you are jealous of them about that you can use to infuse your experience here, right? So I want you to notice those tinges as they come up. The moon does square Pluto, which is why I was saying like starting your day full of love, because it can be energy of competition or crying in the back room if you made a mistake at work, or feeling really overwhelmed and intense. But we also have this positive Sun trine Mars where it's like working together. The energy of like competition can sometimes be helpful. It can get more you out of you. It can pull more motivation out of yourself, but just ensure it's coming from a place around, I love myself enough to want to make my dreams a reality. I love myself enough to want to have one of those floating fruit pool mornings. Like what are those? I've never had one of those in my life, but I feel like they're very common. I love myself enough to want to see my dreams a reality, and I'm willing to work towards it. That's the energy of Mars, is our physical efforts, right? What it is that we are physically doing about it. So rather than descending into, I wish, taking action in some way, putting some energy towards what it is that you want to build. And rather than demonizing that person for living your dreams, being like, thank you for revealing to me what's possible within this world, and for showing me what it looks like to live your highest version. There's parts of that that inspire me to continue to live my highest version. Thank you so much for that motivation. Competition is a good thing. Competition is a good thing. If you work for a startup or anything of that nature, sometimes there can be, like competition around, they're doing the same thing. Or if you have your own business, there's another person doing the same thing. Competition is good. It's healthy. It helps you continue to push yourself. It shows that there is market validation for your idea or for your offering. It is not a bad thing. Just try not to let it tinge into your emotional landscape on Monday. Good vibes sort of activate on Monday night as the moon enters Leo at 9:45 p.m. and then trines Jupiter in Aries, which is good vibes, which is celebrating life, finding little ways to celebrate life. I mean, Libra, Sun, Leo, Moon, what a fabulous combination. On Tuesday, the 18th, so Venus trine Mars is similar to Sun trine Mars in that it is this energy around competition, but it's less so around our identity, our usness, and with Venus, it's money, it's beauty, it's love. And these are the two passion planets, so I do want to say Tuesday is probably my pick, especially Tuesday's Mars Day. And we have the Leo moon sextiling Mercury and Libra. It might be nice for a date night or to do something romantic. And Venus trines Mars is the energy where you're sort of just like bantering with one another, like within your connection, or like kind of teasing one another. Again, don't take it too far. Venus is about to square Pluto, so maybe don't come after their insecurities. Mercury is about to oppose Chiron. But it is nice to poke a little fun. There's kind of like a playful, heart-centered vibe on Tuesday. And with Venus trine Mars, again, it's this energy around maybe having a little competition within your connection. Again, using this competition is healthy to continue to develop your talents and abilities. And so with Venus trine Mars, you also could be feeling a little bit more competitive or a little bit more motivated as it relates to your financial goals. That's Venus. As it relates to your beauty, your aesthetic, your fashion sense. Again, if it's like you're knee deep in this fashion influencer's blog, they have all this money, I can't possibly dress like this if I don't have boatloads of money. But it's like maybe you can find little ways that you're inspired by it and little ways to make it your own, right? Not feel like you have to model yourself off that person, because again, that's tilting into Pluto energy. That's tilting into I'm trying to become you. I'm leeching energy off of you. And more so being like, oh, that's a fun idea. Let me see if I can infuse that in my own way. Like for example, I follow this girl on TikTok. I think she's a Pisces, shout out. And she had posted one day, she was like, I'm wearing a skirt as a dress. Like it was like this cool dress, but it was actually a skirt. And I was like, I have some long skirts. Let me try that. And now I've worn many of my skirts as dresses. And it's just like an idea from like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. And tapping into that lens rather than, I want to become you. Where did you get that exact dress? Or it's not fair. If only I was wealthy, then I could dress cool. Finding those little ways to be able to push yourself either financially, beauty-wise, love-wise, using other people as motivation, using other people as like healthy competition, as bantering. Again, with the air energy, we're still all in this together. There's a little bit more Mars-like energy, which is advocacy, going out after what we want energy this week, but it's all in air signs. So it's like other people can motivate you and inspire you and make you want more for yourself. And how great is that we have other people as mirrors in that way. Wednesday. Oh my. Okay, so Wednesday is when sort of that darker underbelly of this week's astrology really rears its ugly head, okay? The Sun and Venus square Pluto. This is obsession. This is competition. This is jealousy. This is our darker sort of impulses within the human psyche. And with the Sun and Venus squaring Pluto, I'll let you know a couple ways this can manifest. This can manifest around being very competitive. And since Mercury opposes Chiron, that was the energy I was talking about in the vibe check of those like biting words of you're like, did you compliment me or not? But also both ways, my love. A lot of times we tend to, put ourselves as the hero in the story and be like, everybody else is the villain. The frenemies were the villain. But also keeping in mind, like this week is sort of shining a light around we're the villain in someone else's story and being mindful not to be that. Like sometimes when you are jealous, you can say words that are truly rude or have less than stellar intentions baked into it out of that jealousy. Like, your frenemy Jenny gets captain of the cheerleading squad and you just have this seething rage and jealousy like that should have been me, because Pluto's also power. This deep desire for power and feeling like power is yanked away from us is also a theme of Pluto energy. And that seething rage takes you to this like intense place where with Mercury opposite Chiron, we launch our words for the purpose of wounding. So like going up to Jenny and saying, oh my gosh, it's so exciting that you're a cheerleading captain. Congrats, how exciting. I know that you had to practice a lot for it. And it's probably why, honestly, your grades aren't that great and you have to repeat algebra, probably because you were putting so much time towards this. But isn't it great that it worked out for you? Thank God. Like, be mindful of words that you throw for the purpose of wounding. That's the energy of Chiron. You can be on both ends of this, and I want to highlight it. Like maybe you're the one who's getting these insults, whether it's at work, insults told with a smile, and you're like, ouch. Or maybe you're the one, because of the seething resentment and jealousy, tossing them. Just be mindful about that. Like I said, Saturn goes direct this week. be mindful of the energy you put out there with Pluto. Pluto's a planet of transformation, so definitely a great day to like physically exert some energy or do something to get that bad energy away from you. So if you're frustrated with a situation at work or someone, you know, being nice in a professional email, but really just saying, per my last email, or like something that, you know, is for the purpose of being like, you dummy, I already said this. Like, if you're feeling that energy around rage of just being like, oh, like take a walk, transform that energy into something else, transform into motivation to do even better on that project, transform that jealousy for that person to practice even more on your cheers for the vibe check. Use it. It is fuel. Like Pluto is power, right? And we give our power away when we obsess, okay? What it is that you focus upon expands. So when you are putting all your energy towards creeping on this person's Instagram or creeping on this person's business or creeping on this person's success, we are not empowering ourselves. We can use that as fuel, but use it to fuel your own pathway. Be like, okay, I did not get cheerleading captain. That's okay, I'm just a junior. Let me practice even harder so I can get it next year. Okay, someone called me out at work. That's fine. Wait till they see who gets the next promotion. Like, I'm gonna work even harder, and not preying on that person's downfall, more so fueling your own ascent, okay? That's what I want you to be mindful of on Wednesday. It can suck. With Venus square Pluto, there can also be energies within our relationships of jealousy, being jealous of people in relationships, or being very controlling or possessive of our partner's past, or anything of that nature. So just keeping in mind these kind of darker level emotions, they're not wrong, okay? They're not wrong. The moon's in Leo. There can be a tinge towards the dramatic. So why not, when you're on that angry walk at work, or that angry walk when you and your partner get in a disagreement about their past or something, why not make it a big scene? Why not play some dramatic music as the rain falls down? Like with the Leo moon, it's okay to be a little theatric with your emotions. Just ensure that it's not directed towards other people, right? With Mercury opposite Chiron, journal about it. Observe what within you that triggered. Why does your partner's past trigger you? Why does this person trigger you? Observing those triggers rather than sort of acting out because of them, okay? Really important to be mindful of, especially with Saturn going direct. I'm telling you, what you put out there ricochets, and we're near eclipses, so things are a little wacky. So also if someone kind of throws weird energy towards you, just know, okay, it's eclipses, let me just protect my peace. Like, it's not that we shouldn't hold people accountable for what they do during eclipses, but people are a little wacky, and it's because everybody has their own eclipse story playing out. Do make sure to check out my eclipse video if you have not. We're getting closer and closer, my love. So being gentle, like being like, wow, Becky's being really rude. She must really be going through it. Like, allowing yourself to stay in a position of power by not leaking out and stooping to anybody's level, and being mindful of not being the villain yourself or falling into the villain's antics if someone is coming at you with some crazy energy. It's important with astrology. We tend to put ourselves as the protagonist, and you are the hero of your own life, don't get me wrong, but you can look back and know that you were the villain in any person's story. And with the squares to Pluto, there can be a tendency to kind of really slip into that villain era, and not in the fun way. And adding to this intensity, the reason I'm saying watch your impulses is just with the Leo moon squaring Uranus and Taurus, we can behave a little erratically. The Leo moon opposes Saturn in Aquarius. Not getting the cheer captain role sucks. Getting please fix emails at work suck. It's a bitter pill to swallow. Let's just keep moving on. There is opportunities to really reframe the wounds and insecurities that are coming to the surface, right? Because the Leo moon does trine Chiron in Aries. Mercury is also opposing Chiron in Aries. So there can be a tendency for words that wound, whether they are given, whether they are received, or whether they are thought, okay? If you're being your own frenemy within your own head, with the Leo moon sort of casting a light on it, there is energy around being like, wow, my partner's past deeply makes me feel insecure. This person deeply makes me feel insecure. Rather than hating this person, let me use this as an opportunity to pull the lens inward and observe what within me is in need of healing. What within me is feeling insecure, and using that as a pathway forward to grow. And then that evening, the Leo moon sextiles Mars and Gemini, so is a positive time to be able to work forward on what's coming to the surface, right? Rather than letting it stew and acting out, like to productively say, this is bothering me about your past, if it's to your partner. This is bothering me about this friendship. This is bothering me about my life that other people are revealing to me that I feel like I have to compete with. What's our pathway forward? These triggers are coming to the surface for the purpose of growing, okay? Not for the purpose of stewing in that hateful energy, for the purpose of growing and moving forward, right? On Thursday, we have some really lovely energy, but it takes place for PDT like between like 2 to 3 a.m. about, but I'll highlight it. The Leo moon sextiles Venus and the sun in Libra, which is lovely if you happen to be up. So if you're on the East Coast or anywhere more Eastern, this would be nice to eat something delightful, to do something pleasurable, to create some art, something of the nature. After the Leo moon sextiles the sun in Libra at 3:35 a.m., it is then void. So not an aligned time to do anything too terribly important. Trust me, the motivation will come as the moon ingresses into Virgo at 9:25 a.m., which is productive, service-oriented, a great time to look to your to-do list. Maybe Wednesday got a little intense, you know, you got a little too carried away, going on a walk, fantasizing about your coworker's imminent demise. Let's reel it back. Let's reel it back to reality, attune to the to-do list. Organize, get clean. I will say the Libra sun and the Virgo moon is an aligned time around organizing, maybe getting rid of some belongings or anything that'll kind of help you usher in Scorpio season and usher in eclipse season, which is a time truly, Scorpio, the energy about it is about destroying. It is about releasing, letting go, right? So also just looking to stuff, whether it's within your home, mementos, space within your phone around what is it that I need to release in order to prepare for the fresh new start. The Virgo moon will help you with that. It's very detail oriented. And I say this with every balsamic moon. We're in the waning crescent moon phase, but especially before an eclipse, protect your energy, protect your peace, exert a little bit more compassion and gentleness with people. Everybody's going through their own eclipse story. You're going through your eclipse story. Make sure to check out the eclipse video to find out more about yours. But it's just a time that people can be a little wacky. And if you're feeling this intense inward pull to protect your energy, to spend more time in solitude, honor that call. On Friday, the 21st, the Virgo moon trines Uranus and Taurus. Brilliant as it relates to creativity, as it relates to novelty, maybe trying on a new workout class or infusing a new creative style when it comes to your work. Just a nice productive Friday. Remember, protect your energy even at work. Try not to get sucked into drama that is not yours. Tasks that are not yours. Keep in mind, Mars stations retrograde next weekend. So being mindful around what it is that you take on for your workload. This is the downside of Virgo moon, is that they could be helpful to their detriment. So just being mindful around if someone comes to you with this whole new project, or if someone comes to you within your personal life with like, here's this whole drama that's going on, like you can help people. Again, that's the emphasis with all this air energy. You can help people without taking it on for yourself, okay? Like, not my circus, not my monkeys, okay? Important to know as we move into eclipse season, protect your energy, protect your peace. You can still be helpful, but from afar. You can still be helpful by shining light on, maybe it would be helpful if you did this, this, and this, but I'm not going to take that onto my plate. It's important for me to protect my energy with Mars retrograde and the eclipses beginning. Maybe for some of you, this might feel like a disruption. Maybe for some of you, you're the one who's always helpful. I've got it, just hand it to me. Because with the energy of trining Uranus, maybe it's trying on a new strategy around, I'm at capacity. I do not have bandwidth for that. Maybe that's a new vibration for you to dial in. Getting comfy saying no. Getting comfy exerting boundaries. Maybe that's the newness that you're infusing with this Uranus energy. But all in all, it just feels like a very productive energy on Friday. Just be mindful around not taking on too much to your plate. And the reason I highlight that for Friday, that kind of continues on Saturday as well. The reason I was so deeply saying that is just because the moon is building to square Mars and then oppose Neptune. Moon opposing Neptune, I call this like bleeding heart aspect, in that you want to help. And your compassion and desire to help can be taken advantage of. And with the square to Mars and Gemini, we can feel very flustered, trying to do it all and be it all for everybody. And I just want you to ground down into, okay, this is what it is that I need to work on. This is what it is that I'm prioritizing. It is not selfish. I'm just protecting my energy. I'll keep emphasizing this as we get closer to eclipses. It is not selfish to not go to this party. I'm just protecting my energy. It is not selfish to get deeply involved with my coworkers' saga of dating someone who is married. That has nothing to do with me. I just need to protect my energy, handle my little tasks right here, right now. If you get too involved with someone else's drama or with someone else's tasks, you can feel very flustered. It is important to just be mindful around what situations you're around on Saturday morning. Like I said, it's the energy where if someone asks you to borrow $10,000, you're a little bit more in your heart space where you're like, yes, of course. If you're around a lot of people, you can take on a lot more of their emotions. Neptune is the energy of dissolving, but it would be really great to move your body, to go for a hike, to do something. Again, I hope that Aries full moon revealed to you the people that you do not need to perform for, the people that you just feel safe around. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people that you feel drained after hanging out with. Maybe don't hang out with them on Saturday morning. It's so rejuvenating to be around people who it's just easy. For that Aries full moon, I went on a hike, a full moon hike. It was so cool. I've never gone on this particular, it's like up this huge mountain during a full moon at nighttime, and I've never done that. And I went with my Aries friend. She's Aries sun, Aries moon, Aries rising. And I got home. We had hiked, I think it was like 3 miles up this big old mountain. And I got home and I was like, I've never felt so energized. Like I could do anything right now. And I didn't have to think about one time. I didn't have to filter myself or think about what to say. It was like when we are together, it just flows. It just feels natural. It feels healing. It feels rejuvenating. And I just love connections like that. And on Saturday, it's love spending time in nature during Neptune aspects. That's great. But just being mindful around going to help that frenemy with a favor when you know you're going to feel exhausted after that. During Neptune, it could just feel a little more overwhelming. So that's just what I want you to be mindful of. By midday, we kind of catch our stride. The Virgo moon trines Pluto in Capricorn, which is powerful. And the reason I talked about boundaries on Friday and also on Saturdays, because Saturn is stationing direct. So maybe there's been all these underlying resentments. Like, to bring it back to the vibe check, it's like, Becky always takes advantage of me. She always asks for help and she never helps me. Like with Saturn direct and the Virgo moon trining Pluto, it's like, no, I can't. My schedule, my mentor gave me this line, my schedule does not allow me to. Okay, my schedule does not allow me to. You don't need to go above and beyond with an excuse. You can just say, hey Becky, I know I always help you practice your cheers since you're the cheer captain, but this weekend my schedule does not allow me to. You don't need to give more insight. It can just be that. And you can stand in your power within that. Because Saturn stationing direct outside of karma, as I highlighted deeply, it's also about boundaries. So maybe you've been stewing around, oh, my boundaries are not being illuminated. Maybe that Aries full moon illuminated your need for boundaries around certain connections. And this is the energy where it's like, no, you can't call me past 11, actually. Or no, you can't talk to me about your exes. Or whatever boundaries you are feeling it's time to draw that line in the sand. The Virgo moon trining Pluto in Capricorn is an energy to be like, stand in your power, stand in your firmness. Particularly if you feel like these boundaries are really derived out of the goodness of your heart of wanting to help, right? Of the transiting Virgo moon. So just a cool opportunity there to enact those, especially since Mercury trines Saturn, which is this energy around really standing by our boundaries with our words, really thinking through situations logically. It could be aligned if you do go for a hike or spend time in nature to kind of just envision what you would want the future to look like. Don't feel pressured around making it all happen. Like I said, there's some Neptune energy in the morning, and then the moon enters Libra, opposing Jupiter. So it's not necessarily that you need to run around and do all the things, but it is powerful around either enacting, hey, no, I actually can't do all the things. Hey, this role that I've been playing within our connection actually isn't working for me. Hey, we need these new rules within the relationship to make it more supportive of me and where I'm at. It is a time to kind of draw that line in the sand, but don't stress yourself out trying to like envision this new business and make it all happen. It doesn't feel like the most productive energy necessarily, but it is a powerful energy. And these conversations will likely really be held and felt by other people. Like with Sun conjoining Venus, this is a Venus Cazimi, and Venus is in her rulership. You know, we're in the mood to get along, and we're not in the mood to get along by, you know, not standing by our boundaries. Again, Saturn's direct. What's been done in private becomes public. What's been thought about internally, the boundaries needed internally, becomes external. Like it's a big picture transit. It really echoes through a lot of the cosmos beyond just this week. So we'll continue to work with this energy, but there is this energy around when we hold our line in the sand. No, Becky, I can't help with that. No, Becky, it's actually not okay that you talk to me like that. There's almost an energy where Becky will be like, oh, maybe she won't love it, but with energy in Libra, we're willing to hear people out. We're willing to choose harmony. And maybe we can actually enact a healthy relationship with Becky if we set that line in the sand. Like, hey, it's not okay that you talk to me like that or anything of that nature. Like with Sun, Venus, we are in the mood to get along. It's very romantic energy outside of this whole boundaries conversation. It's very romantic. We're in the mood to get along. We're in the mood to enjoy life. Do something lovely on Saturday with this Venus energy. Like I said, the tone shifts dramatically on Sunday outside of this Venus energy shifting to all the Scorpio. So enjoy life, enjoy one another's company in ways that honor your own boundaries and in ways that are truly constructive and healthy. The moon enters Libra at 6:24 p.m. that night and it opposes Jupiter. That's what I'm saying. We have like Neptune and Jupiter moon aspects on Saturday. You know, it might not be the most productive, and that's okay. The moon is shedding light as it prepares for next week's new moon. So again, you might feel more in the mood to spend a little bit more time alone or have like a cozy date night at home. It's interesting. We have this romantic energy of Venus, but then also this introspective energy of the balsamic moon. So just protect your energy, invite in loveliness and luxury in whichever ways feel good to you. And then on Sunday, the 23rd, Venus and the Sun enter Scorpio. So let's break it down. So firstly, Venus does not enjoy being in Scorpio. It is her detriment. She prefers being in Scorpio's opposite sign, Taurus, because Venus rules Taurus. Because Taurus is physical delights and sensual delights. And Scorpio is about spiritual truths, what's underneath. And Venus is about love. Taurus is about stability. Scorpio is about destruction. And it's like, if you know a Venus Scorpio, you are a Venus Scorpio, they go deep into what it is that they care about. They are not lukewarm individuals. So same, Venus doesn't love having to be as extreme as she is when she's in Scorpio. It's not a bad thing. I'm not calling you flawed if you have this aspect, but it does take us deep. So it's like if you've been in a connection where it's like shallow and it's superficial and you and Becky, you know, you hang out, but there's all these deep-seated things. With Venus and Scorpio, it's like, Becky, what's good? Do you like me or not? It's basically like, are we doing this or not? Scorpio is no in between. It's either like we are obsessed, best friends, understand one another's souls, or I cannot stand you, get out of my sight, right? The line in the sand becomes very, very drawn. And with Venus and Scorpio, it really plunges into the deeper layers of our connection to see if it can handle that. So with Venus and Scorpio, it's like the energy where you've been in a relationship, it's all nice and it's all fun, you guys have these nice fall dates. Then with Venus enters Scorpio, it's like, what are you scared of? What keeps you up at night? It's like getting to the core spiritual truth, something not every connection can survive that. The right ones can, absolutely, but it can be intense. It can take you into the deeper level of your beloved psyche. With the Sun ingressing into Scorpio as well, there is a deep dive into these aspects. Again, we'll get more context on this as we move through eclipse season, but all I'm saying, you're gonna wake up on Sunday and feel like a new person. And I just wanna highlight the Libra moon does oppose Chiron in Aries, so just being loving with yourself if any wounds sort of are coming to the surface or anything of that nature. And like I said, with Saturn now direct, like knowing that what may have wounded you is not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. The thing about frenemies is that you can stay in those vibrations around just going like tit for tat and just like preying on one another's downfall and just getting more and more insecure with yourself as you go down that path. Or you can use it as a vessel to grow, to deepen your own experience, to be the best version of yourself, to get your best mile time, to be the best cheerleader you can be. And it's just really important, especially as we get into Scorpio, around really diving deep into our own psyche, around where is this desire to compete coming from? What am I not satisfied with in my own world? And how can I deepen my expression within my own world? And can these relationships be taken from something that is quite jealous and quite resentful into a genuine deep connection? It absolutely can happen. Time brings maturity. And yes, there might have been people who were bullies or mean to us or frenemies to us, but we're also a villain in other people's stories as well. And taking accountability for that and using that as a vessel to grow and to be your best self. So my love, the Magic Monday mantra of the week is other people are sacred mirrors that provide reflection on where I can grow. I want you to be aware of your reaction to other people, whether it's people within your friendship group, people online. You can be inspired by someone's content. You could be inspired by someone's style. You can be inspired by someone's travels without deeply coveting it and being like, that should be mine. Allow it to be just that, a sacred mirror reflecting to you something that might be true about your journey or an area of your life that you feel called to grow within. There's something within that. The person that you jealously check up on social media, or that frenemy in your friend group that you always feel that competitive vibe with. There's something embedded within that. And the concept of sacred mirrors is all about how other people can reflect to us certain aspects of ourselves that we have not integrated, or areas that we have not healed, or areas of ourselves that we're being asked to sharpen into focus. And understanding that it's no coincidence why we are inspired by these people. They're literally reflecting to us something about us, and we don't need to literally take on someone else's style or try to be someone else. We can just say, hey, what is it that I admire about this person? Maybe what I admire about this person's content is how they are so unapologetic. Maybe what I admire about this person's style is that, yeah, they turn skirts into dresses and they make it their own thing. Maybe what I admire about this frenemy is how she is so dead set on what it is that she wants and doesn't let anything get in her way, and I'm someone who gives up too easily. We can use this as fuel. We can use this as inspiration without preying on that person's downfall. And you'll know how far you are with this particular journey when you can be happy for your frenemy, when you can be happy for that person that you see on social media and be like, wow, this is revealing to me that this is possible for me. This is in my field of energy. It's in my vortex because it's getting closer and closer to me. And with the energy in Mars, like, I'm not saying you can just sit there and all of a sudden you'll be on a plane ride to Bali with one of those floating fruit platters in the infinity pool. It does take effort, it does take work, but using that as fuel, using that as motivation to continue to strive, to continue to be your best version as that person is reflecting to you what is possible for you, but not their style. It'll be within your unique essence, within your unique magic, so that you can provide that sacred mirror for other people as well as they continue in their journeys. So my love, I held on to my coffee the entire time. I don't know, I just felt like it was giving me the Libra season energy I was looking for. My Instagram handle is @HaleyComet Astrology. My TikTok is the same. I would love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay magical.